This is, that was proximity. And we understand that the closer someone gets to us, the more attention of ourselves they have, and therefore we can charge a premium. And that all the other products only affect that more so. This, I want to talk more about how ideas shift culture. And so we can do this through those offers I just mentioned and also the content we discussed before. And it's really under this framework of, at the bottom here we've got, this one's actually community. So call it what you want. But this is the person. And so these are different levels of, I suppose, proximity, or not proximity, in a sense of like a medium of a person in culture. What does that look like? And so we have person, community. This will be business, yeah. What was this one I called? Government. Economy. Finally, culture. And so, in order to affect culture, we have to start with the person first. Right? And then it becomes a small community, our neighbors. And then it might be a business. Then it might be a government, like the best contracts to have. They pay on time and a lot. And so if you do a business well enough, or strategically enough, you can typically get into the government contracts in the right sectors. Unless you're in Tristan's world where they're trying to get you instead. Economy, right? You start shifting governments, now you're starting to influence economies. This is where the Buffetts sit, the Charlie Mongers. And then it kind of flips in a way where you affect the reins of power so much so that now it starts to affect the culture, right? And so what's the other axis? If this is the different levels of humanity, this is the different levels of what you're giving them, the medium. And so the most innocent place a person starts, which we'll be talking about in a moment, is an idea. It starts always with an idea. If you have enough ideas grouped together, it might form what we call a method. So I'm sure you guys sell methods, right, inside your community or systems. If you have enough methods grouped together, it starts becoming a curriculum. And if you have a curriculum that's deep enough, that truly like grasps someone's soul, that's when it transfers from me over to like a philosophy. It's a curriculum that isn't so much just for affecting your day-to-day, but for really changing your soul or questioning the soul. It's the deepest access point. It's a philosophy that you can now abide by and walk through. The philosophy is interesting because this is where I think it's most gate-kept between, there's so many curriculum owners out there, but between this and a movement, this is where they crack down on you, right? Because if you start a movement, like you've got people selling it for you. It's the ultimate leverage play. And it's super influential. The last one though, can you guys guess what the last one is? I'm interested to know. Pretty much, bro. I was going to say religion. Think of it, because there's no philosophy more impactful to the culture, is there? And so really what all these bro marketers are trying to say is scale your ideas through the systems, through the proximities, get it to a philosophy, make it a cult, make it a movement. Bro, you're just talking about religion, really. And so this is like the North Star, where you're affecting culture through religion. Now, religion means many different things to many different people, but this is why I think it's so incredibly important to have a thesis. And so you can start to track your business somewhere in here. And so most people would operate right in here. If you're in the top 1%, you might, or 0.1%, you might get through to there. And obviously this is really rare ground for the prophets, or what I call the visionaries.
It's challenging ground as well. I've seen in my career.
Brave ground.
People get stuck at curriculum, depending on what market you're operating in. So for me, coming from the hair background, we moved up into the philosophical movement side of it. We just did it for so long and kept challenging, kept questioning, and it doesn't get received well.
You're B2B, right? Mostly? Are you B2B or B2C? Yeah, so...
Yeah, and some B2C, but
yeah.
And it gets challenged a lot. And people will try and shut it down fast if it challenges their worldview on the way things have gone and they think it should go. Yeah. It takes a hell of a lot of courage to play on that.
Bro, that's another metric here. This is just like, this is almost sure death. Right? I mean, let's talk about the man who governs our timeline, Jesus Christ. If you're that influential, you get a timeline named after you. We call it BC or AD, where your death symbolizes the start of a new timeline. That's how influential someone can get. But it always starts with washing the person's foot, right? By being meek and by being humble enough to bring yourself to the level of the person, and then your proximity, your access to your products are only built upon that. But no, you're definitely right. This is the most courageous thing a man can do. And so Tristan, I'm thinking about this for you, bro, with what you've got in front of you. I'm sure you've had some time to sit with the decisions we've talked about since the intensive, but the ultimatum, right? And I think someone that sat with this a lot was King Solomon. You guys familiar with King Solomon from the Bible? Richest man to ever live to this day, said to be in the trillions if it was brought to today's dollar. But God gave him the choice of having anything he desired, and he chose wisdom above everything. And he had all the wives, all the Lambos, all the rest of it. And I got this quote here. Proverbs, which he wrote, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight." And so this whole thing, and the only way you can really go beyond, I'd say this, is this framework I want to get into in a moment, around exiting victimhood and getting into your zone of genius, backed by the universal fund of God, not through your ego. It's the only way. Your ego cannot get beyond this area. I would say it's impossible just for one man to really influence culture so profoundly, only using his ego. So whilst your ego can be really good because it can make you a lot of money, because you've got a debt that you're subconsciously linked to for your father who never loved you, for your girlfriend who dumped you, whatever it is, that can only take you so far. And you can typically own this region. But to really influence mankind takes something a lot deeper.
Someone explained it to me really well, the ego work and the soul's work. So, it was about motivation and passion. I heard the word motivation come up earlier. It's motivation and passion is work on the ego, but it's not reliable because it's fleeting.
Mm-hmm.
So the ego is not consistent.
Yeah.
So it's never going to drive it that far because it's just not consistent enough.
No.
Whereas the soul's work through virtue is always there. Virtue is
Yeah.
that has enough power to keep going all the way.
Yeah.
If we just rely on ego, that's the passion to work with the ego, it's fleeting at best.
Yeah.
It's not consistent.
It's not consistent. Going back to this question, what's the everlasting fuel source?
Ego, yeah, it's
You know?
into virtue and then the soul, what's the soul's work?
So we've covered that. We're going to get into this now. This is the top level. I can spend hours going into this stuff, deeper and deeper and deeper, as much as you guys like. But it's the real work, right? Thinking this grand, because then it's suddenly like, oh, getting clients isn't that big a deal. You know what I mean? It's not that important, bro. Like, now I'm on a phone call trying to close this dude for 20K, and it's just like, it's just like, you know, in the grand scheme of things.
It's like, dude, I'm trying to create religion here.
Yeah. Get out of my way, bro.
Yeah.
You win or not?
Just pay me, right?
Cool. So I suppose I'll keep that up to talk about this next thing, which is that what does visionary mean to you guys? Being a visionary.
A leader.
Leader? Of what?
A leader of an idea.
Of an idea. Any thoughts, Tristan?
Sorry, what was the question?
What is a visionary
Visionary?
to you?
Someone who sees through the constraints of reality to create a new one.
Yeah, that's a dope definition.
Someone who's like willing to go against the grain,
Yeah.
like the norms of society.
So a pretty prolific character, we can agree on that. Yeah.
Someone who's willing to, is grounded enough to look at all of it. Because you can only go the dots looking backwards, right? To have vision, you need contrast. It's like, without any contrast, it's hard to,
You can't have people without people hating.
someone brave enough to look back and go, oh, that wasn't this, what we could do better. And then have the balls to drive and do.
Yeah. No, you're right. You can't be loved without being hated. So really this is why the ego cuts off around here somewhere, because it doesn't want to be hated. It wants to be seen, it wants to be loved, it wants to be famous, it wants to be abundant, right? And so the real reason why, what is it now, bro, like 97% of entrepreneurs fail, is for me, bro, they're just thinking about this stuff way too much. And it's bro, it's me as well. I have to fight that ego every single day to not go down a different route and to trust my intuition to take me up. And I don't necessarily want to start a religion. I don't think I'm made for that. But I would rather be under one, right? And I don't mean like the ones we know. I mean my own sense of what I think of what God is. Right. Cool. So let's.
You need some more trauma. Keep driving you.
Yeah. Exactly. That's the alternative, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Like
that
we've got if that's the soul's journey, and it's definitely not linear, but the ego's is the same. But it reaches the sticking point, typically, somewhere in between there. Yeah, I think, and if you do reach this level, one final thing on it is, I feel like if you're that individual, you've basically clocked the game. Like checkpoint, checkmate, next video game, next planet, next reality, bro. Cool. So,
Do you think the community is necessary to...
sorry?
Yeah, sorry, I answered that question. Yeah, community is actually necessary because the strength comes in numbers.
Yeah.
You can't create a movement alone. I mean, actually you can even create a religion alone if you want to, but then you don't go anywhere near on the bottom of the chart.
Yeah.
Like you stay at the first level of the person, right?
So you could do this,
Yeah.
but it's just for yourself. That's me. You know, to me, it's a lot of us.
Yeah,